What's going on YouTube? So back again with another reaction video. Let's jump into this video and I'm gonna chop it up with you guys real quick.
I thank Dr. Johnson and the National Association of Conscious Black Women for having the courage to invite me here. I think that most of you have heard, read, or seen something about my book around the country. I've been on a national tour for 12 months and I'm doing the lecture tour to reach a lot of our people who perhaps got the wrong understanding from television. Television shows are designed in a certain way by the producers of those shows to exploit whatever the idea is that's being presented so as to get high ratings. And so they have kind of had me back against the wall, and so I'm doing the lecture tour so that I could go around and perhaps give our people a little relief, because so many things have been taken out of context and it has created a lot of confusion. My position is that the black woman's disrespect and rebellion against the leadership and the authority of the black man is a direct cause of the breakdown in our black family structure. Now, of course, there are many black people who consider those fighting words, because as black women, we have never been subject to the kind of examination that our men have been subject to since we have been here. We have been somewhat protected and shielded from any kind of critiquing about our personal behavior, whereas our men have always been up for examination. The book is not an attack on black women. I have never said that all black women do everything that I list in my book. None of us have lived long enough to do everything that I list in the book, but most of us do some of the things that I've listed in my book. And I do say that it is not because of generalizations that we are all victimized by some of the negative patterns of behavior in the book, but the book just represents our collective contribution. This is some of everything that we have done, or that we do daily, that contributes to the breakup of our relationship, the destruction of our man, and the failure of our children to be able to function. They did not tell.
I've read that book, by the way. That book's an amazing book. It breaks down details of the trauma that the black woman goes through and how she looks at the black man. It's an amazing book. I'll tell you guys to actually go out your way and go read it as well. It's called The Black Man Guide to Understanding the Black Woman. Fantastic book. Amazing.
Amazing.
Tell us that all of that being my own person and I'm independent would lead to separation, loneliness, celibacy, and lesbianism. They didn't tell us that if you give up the man, you're going to take one of these things and it's worse and it will destroy your nation. They didn't give us that information. They made us think that it was some kind of glorified position to brag about the fact that I got my own job, my own credit card, my own car, so I don't need no man. I don't even know how we got that mixed up. Ain't none of that got nothing to do with being with no man. We have some serious relationship problems that nobody has been able to address us on, because everybody wants to pretend that this is not going on. Over 60% of our women are single, widowed, separated, or divorced. They don't have a man. I just came out of Florida and they got a housing complex that the Urban League built, which is a black organization that is for women and children only. They say they don't allow any men in there. I didn't have time to deal with it, but I talked about them real bad. That's the silliest program I've ever heard of. Them women that had men if they got a bunch of children. They need fathers. They need protection. We hear about the drug problem that we have in our projects across the country. It's one of the major places that we have a drug problem. We talk about the great strength that we have as black women. Well, the welfare department don't rent government apartments to single black men. Those apartments belong to black women who are allowing this to go on in their home.
Big facts. Big facts. This is why I don't rate no man that lives in a council flat with a female that's already been in that council flat before you got there. You are part of the problem. The fact that you are co-signing that. Majority of the time, a lot of guys don't know this is what's going on. Like, it goes on in the UK as well. You know what I'm saying to you? Like, they go out the way to have kids with people like us, me and you. Yeah, not all of them. The hyenas. I'm talking about the hyenas. The hyenas know who I'm talking about, right? They go out the way to have kids with no intention of building a family and being underneath a man's supervision. Why? Because of this black independent narrative that's been pushed out to the media. I don't need a man, and it's chaotic. Telling you, facts. It's been this has actually been done in the 80s, and it's still going on to today. It's ridiculous because, you know, who I really feel sorry for is the kids. You know, the kids that has to grow up in this environment. It's really unfair for them.
We have not looked at what part of the responsibility do we share. Yes, black men sell a lot of drugs, and a lot of us black women get the money from them drugs and buy some of these fancy clothes we wear. Drive around in some of these fancy cars. He is not doing these things alone and without support from us, whether they are good or bad. See, we have a lot of power. We are very strong women. I'm saying that we're using our strength in the wrong direction. We're using it to tear our man down, tear our nation down, instead of building it up. Having an education.
Isn't that facts? Isn't that facts? Wouldn't you say majority of the time, especially in social media, you see how some black women are tearing down black guys just for their preference, just for saying something they don't like? You lot don't see it happening in real time. And I dislike some of you baiters out there that don't call out on the fuckeriness that you see just because you're shook, just because you're trying to pander to them. One thing I will never do in this channel is pander to no females that I think they're doing wrong. I will never ever pander to you lot. I really do not care about you lot's feelings. Trust me, I'm good. I'm gonna be good regardless. But it's like, it hurts me to see the fact that you guys are doing what you lot are doing to yourself, which is affecting the community, which will be the new generation, the kids that's going to be growing up in this environment that you lot are creating. When you don't have no man in the household to show you guys wrong, to tell you what you're doing is wrong, to tell you how to act, how to maneuver, you know what I mean, so you can be a better person for yourself and for the kids, for the nation. And you guys want to say who hurt you, your mama black, all these little stupid little comment. You're not really listening to what the man is saying to you. It's really pathetic and really childish. And you know what? Sometimes you guys are going to burn by yourself. You know what I mean? Not the good ones. The good ones are always going to find a man that's going to cater to them and take them on board. But you hyenas that's out there and you think it's funny, you go on your social media, a black man that looks just like you, bro, you're trying to finish him for him speaking out his opinion, right? You lot are the problem, man. Trust me. You lot are the problem. I'm going to tell you right now, yeah, a lot of black men are waking up and going where there's peace, you feel me? Because at the end of the day, right, we the shit.
And a job does not necessarily mean you have a successful life. I keep telling black women that to raise a child, they say, well, I provided with food, clothing, and shelter. That's not raising a child, that's maintaining one. To raise a child, you need a parental coalition of a man and a woman. We have sons who, by not having a father in the home, they don't know how to respect women. They take on the black female emotionalism. They become bitchy, they're doubtful, they're indecisive, they can't make a decision. They don't know what to do about being a man because we can't teach them that. We don't have that knowledge. We have daughters who grew up in a...
That is a facts. You guys, if you guys are actually new to my channel, you guys go down and watch some of my videos. At one point, I was talking about, you know, one of the reasons why I had to separate myself from my mother, because I never wanted my mother's spirit in me. She can't teach me how to be a man. I noticed when I was younger, I had a lot of fear of doing things. See, when I separate myself from that and actually went to go find my identity, I had a fearless approach to life. I'll start anything and continue and know how to consistently be at it until I get to the top of the mountain. I have no fear when it comes to running a business, when it comes to starting something that my heart desires, you know. I want to have the identity of myself as a man, as a person, and of course have that information given from the Most High. So it's true, there's a lot of guys out here that's son husband, and it's very easy for a woman to manipulate you. That's the reason why when you go on social media, you see all these guys pandering to females, because why? They're feminine, they're betas. They don't know how to be a man. They don't know how to say it how it is, you feel me? They don't know how to express themselves, articulate themselves, and let somebody understand that, listen, this is right and this is wrong, you feel me? And most guys are raised by single mothers, so they don't know how to navigate this world by themselves. That's why they're called mummy's boy, son husband. That's why anytime they have little problems going on in life, they go and run and call their mum and ask them, mum, what do you think about this? What I'm saying to you is because of the condition they grew up in. And I ain't gonna lie to you, a lot of the times, right, a lot of men are handicapped. because of that, you know? They don't know how to make solid decisions. They don't know how to lead a woman. At some point, you know, one has to actually look himself in the mirror and ask himself, raw, what do I want to get out of this life? Who am I? And majority of the time, you guys don't know who you are, because you guys do have the spirit of a woman inside of you. If I'm saying to you, vice versa with the females as well. They don't even know who they are because they've never even encountered the father's spirit, the father's energy. So they're just lost out here, drifting, you know? And it's extremely sad to see, though.
Home where they don't see any affection, where there's no man there, they go out into the world and try to mate. They don't have no idea how to be no woman to no man, how to function in a house with a man, because they haven't seen it. Most of our children, just like us, get all the information we have about how you be with a mate off television. It's the only medium that shows us anybody being together. Those rules have not worked for us. The white woman's liberation movement, we don't have anything to do with that. We have not been under the control of the black man for over 500 years, so what do we have to get liberated from them from? They haven't been our boss. That's the white woman and her man. They're going through that, and that's their business. We don't have any business being in that. They only introduced it to break down the civil rights movement. Civil rights movement started with the black man, the black woman, and the black child standing together, trying to plead for freedom, justice, and equality, and more benefits in the country that they had built. They threw the white woman in there with the women's liberation movement and made it a woman against man thing. That created a big separation between black men and black women, because then everybody started going for self. Then they bring the welfare system in and tell us in order to feed and clothe and house our children, we have to give up our man. You have to put the man out of the house. When the white farm wife goes to the government for subsidy for the farm, they don't tell her to get rid of the farmer, they keep that family together. But in the black community, they make it a requirement, because they want to keep endorsing into the black community that the black man is no good, and that he is not deserving of respect, he is not deserving of us letting him give us any protection or instruction, and that we are better than them.
That's a fact, and we see that in today's day and age, right? We see that in today's day and age. You see the disrespect that most black women be giving black men, right? It's extremely horrible. Like, it's very horrible to see. They have no sense of accountability, no respect for the other person that looks like them, because why society has already made them look like black men don't have any respect, so don't show them no respect. That's what it is. That's why when they have a degree, a PhD, they think they're better than certain brothers. And that's why I always say this, and I'll say this again. Most females that have degrees are not fit to be wives. Trust me. They are not fit to be wives, especially you brothers out there that's entrepreneurs like myself, that you know that this degree shit ain't gonna get you nothing, man. There ain't no money in it. Especially when you're trying to build an empire and you're trying to build a legacy, a business, you gotta actually go out there to the real world and get some experience. You gotta fall, you gotta get back up. You gotta see what works for you, you know? So, like myself, I never had time to be going to university to try to get a degree, because I'm not trying to be a doctor. I'm not trying to be a solicitor. I'm not trying to be in medicine, right? I'm trying to be a businessman, an entrepreneur. You feel me? So I have to go out there and learn. I understand what works for me, what doesn't work for me, right? So now imagine I'm dating someone that has a degree, right? She gonna think in her head, because she got a degree, right? Academically, she's smart. She thinks she's smarter than me in the real world. Not understanding as a man, there's certain challenges that I face that she don't face that makes me more advanced in terms of being experienced in life. She's not going to understand that, but she's going to see what society is projecting to her to make her feel like she's better than me. That's why you have some of these females out here wearing weaves, you know, trying to look like the other race, you know, trying to blend in, you know, trying to separate themselves from black men. And you ask yourself, who has self-hate? Does a black man have the self-hate, or does a black woman have the self-hate? That's what I'm saying to you. So the only one of the reasons why I actually had to bring this Shiraza Ali into surface, because I'm actually a big fan of her, you know. I really appreciate a book that she puts out. She has more books as well that she's released as well. And she's a great author, you know. Reading her really made me understand, you know, the challenges that's out there in this real world, the snakes in the grass, you feel me? People like her let me real woman is about a feminine woman, a woman that's family orientated, that's all about the family, you know what I mean? And at the end of the day, this is how I'm going to look at it, right? Fellas, listen, go where you are respected, not where you're tolerated. You don't have to save these hoes, these hyenas. You don't. You really don't. You don't own them nothing. They don't own you. Go out there, go conquer, build the family that you want, and just be happy and just live in peace. Feel me? Anyway, I'm going to leave the full video in the description below. You guys have a watch of it, man. You know, get some insight, get some knowledge, get some, you know, get some wisdom. I'll catch you guys in the next video. If you like content like this, make sure you subscribe. In a bit. Peace. Bow.